everyone, and welcome to Yarn in a Glass. My name is Reese, and in this episode I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make the pebbled headband. So this is just a simple headband ear warmer. It's essentially just the seed stitch in knit. Works out really quick. You don't need a whole lot of yarn. I'm actually just going to use what's left over of this. It's the Lion brand Vanna White. So you are also going to need a pair of size 8 knitting needles. You're going to need scissors and a tapestry needle. Alright, so to get started, we are going to cast on 13. So you're going to want to make sure you have enough of a tail for the cast on. Just going to make our slip stitch. And then that slip stitch is going to count as our first one. So it's 1. And then 12 more. And 13. Perfect. And now, for the first row, actually all of the rows, you're going to do knit 1. I'm going to bring the yarn to the front. We're going to purl 1. Bring the yarn back, knit 1, purl 1. And you're going to do this for the whole row. And remember, we cast on 13, so that's an odd number, so we're always going to end on the same kind of stitch that we started on. I am so sorry. So purling, knitting, purling. Okay, and the knit. Okay, and so now to get that look of the seed stitch, we're going to do the same exact thing. So we're going to knit, purl. Alright, so I'm just going to keep going with this, and I will meet back up with you guys once it is pretty much done. Alright, so we have finished the main part of our pebbled headband, and so now what we need to do is the cast off. And so to do that, you're going to knit 1, purl 1, and then you're going, since the yarn is still up in the front because we just did the purl 1, you're going to bring the needle to the back. You're going to grab previous stitch and bring that to the front, and then we're going to knit 1, and now that the yarn is in the back, we're going to grab that last stitch from the front and pull that up and over. Okay, so we're always going to have the one stitch on there before we move on, and we're going to keep going in the knit purl pattern that we were doing the whole time. Alright, so there we are at the last stitch. So I'm just going to pull my needle out. I'm going to grab the scissors. I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to just bring that little piece through. And so you're going to want to make sure that you've cut a tail long enough to sew through. Weave through, I guess. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we are going to bring that part onto the tapestry needle. We're going to bring the two ends together so that they're flat. There's no twisting of any kind in there. And then we're just going to bring these two pieces together. And so now the goal is to get these two ends right here facing each other like that. And so to do that, we're going to be weaving in and out of these parts here. Okay. All right. So as you can see, because of the way we stitch that together, it looks pretty seamless. All right. So now what you can do is you can either weave in these ends, or we can tie these two pieces together. And it does not have to be a pretty knot, it just needs to be a knot. Alright, cut. Then we can work on making a little center bow, center that'll make it look like a bow. Alright, and so we're going to do this the same way. So we're going to do a slip stitch. But this is going to be super quick, so we're only going to do 5. Alright, just wide enough to cover that. We'll do 7. 6, 7. Alright, always make sure it's an odd number. That way you have the 2 knit stitches on the end instead of a knit and a purl. And then we're just going to keep going. So knit, purl, until it is just long enough to wrap around this piece here. Here I have 20 rows of the smaller version of what we just did. And so now we're going to cast off like we did before. The same pattern. So knit, purl, grab and pull over, knit. Okay, and then just like before, when we do our tail end here, we want to make sure we have enough yarn for sewing everything together. So we're just going to tie that off, and then with this one we want to make sure that this fits over here, and then we're going to sew it all together. Okay, and then just because we can, I'm going to tie these two ends together. And a little knot. And then I'm going to turn this around so that the part that was sewn together is on the inside. flip the whole thing inside out. And then I'm actually going to weave my ends right into the main part here, because I like that it's on the inside and I don't want that to move around. All right. And since this is going to be covering up where we're at in here, I can actually just make a knot that no one's going to see. Just to secure everything in there. And then we don't have to worry about weaving everything into the work. Cut. Then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Just make sure that it's all in there. All right, and then we fold that back over. All right. So that is it. That is our fancy pebbled headband, or you could have left that off and it would have just looked like a plain pebbled headband. They both look pretty cute to me. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoy your new headbands. Please subscribe, follow, whichever, for more videos, sneak peeks, extra info, and things like that.